If you use the internet as anything but a casual observer, then you're probably gonna run into some crazy people, from the obsessed to the entitled to the straight up malicious and a whole lot more. And where are they most infamously found? That's right, online fandoms. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, fandoms suck. You're just looking for people who have shared interests with you, you wanna check out what they're saying, maybe find some advice, and then next thing you know, one wrong action, no matter how small, will either lead you to discover the toxic side of a community, or you'll bring those guys over to you, and who knows what will happen next. Maybe you'll get into some crazy drama over something that's not a big deal at all. Or maybe you'll be the target of some weird cyberbullying group. And that brings me to Katie, known better as the creator of Fundamental Paper Education. And at first, it wasn't so bad. A lot of people were checking out this neat cartoon, coming up with their own theories. Katie received a lot of support, and the future was looking good for what would come next. But then, as the animation and its community and its creator began to gain more and more exposure and popularity, it also opened the doors to those crazy people I mentioned at the beginning, which is unfortunately just the regular cycle of fandoms. If something gains a sizable cult following, then there's going to be some weirdos, and there's not really anything you can do about it. You could have 100 different moderators in that subreddit or whatever, and you're still not safe. Besides, you think a fandom can just choose its members? I know I can't. I'm just hoping someone doesn't start stoning gay people in my name after watching that new fill-in frittata. And so because of that lack of control, the best option is to just make sure you're prepared to not only interact with the community, but also for if you inexplicably get famous, both of which Katie seemed to have not met. So I haven't really made any kind of meaningful interactions or impacts in the community, but I think I've been keeping up with it long enough to know that strange things are happening, like cyberbullying mayhaps, not just with fandom members, but also with Katie herself. Apparently someone went on one of her tweets and replied with a photo of real-life cat gore. There's this one specific tweet I remember where Katie was all like, What do you want from me? And it's her YouTube notifications with a video specifically meant to harass her because it had her handle in the title. And there's also this one guy that caught my attention who may have been behind those first two cases I mentioned, Wagner. I don't know much about this person, but he seems to be the headmaster of like the anti-fandom. There are multiple instances I've seen of him supposedly leading a harassment campaign against Katie and her fanbase. Other than attention, I don't really know what else he could possibly be doing this for. Is he jealous? I don't know. As far as I'm aware, he's not some aspiring artist. Does he not like the animation in question that blew up? I don't know, but there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to like it. In fact, it does have problems. It barely has a proper story. The 3 sections are weird, and even the title is not that great, to the point where Katie herself contemplated changing it. Does Wagner not like Katie? I don't know. I don't think she's ever done or posted anything that could be considered exceptionally bad or unlikable, apart from her supposed irresponsible handling of these haters and trolls. Though in Katie's defense, she's never had to deal with any of this before, let alone on this scale, so of course she's not gonna know what she's doing. There's other stuff I could talk about, like impersonation, child porn. Apparently one person in the fandom committed suicide, pedophilia, accusations against Katie and others, maybe in the future, but for now, just to keep the video shorter, let's move on to this. Why would this be considered the worst fandom of all time? Well, what I'm about to say combined with everything else so far is my proof. This video is gone. At first I discovered it to be unlisted, but now it's just full-blown private. I had to get this footage from an archive. In fact, everything is private. Previous videos on her channel, gone. Community posts, gone. About section, gone. Even on her Twitter account, everything is gone. Not even following anyone. And while I could still access the unlisted video, the description specifically said that Katie did so because she didn't want all the attention she was getting and everything else that came with it. It's kinda like how the creator of Flappy Bird took the game down because he felt guilty about everyone becoming addicted to mastering it. And he's actually still making games, but with Katie, especially in super recent times, it's almost like she hates being a cartoonist now. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before. A small artist with a community and haters so toxic that she basically abandons what she loved, since that's how she got to this point. Of course, that's just a theory. I don't know exactly how Katie feels. I haven't been through what she has, and I have no way of directly contacting her, and even if I could, I don't think she would answer anyway, so really all I can do is imagine. And in relation to the future of her work, it's not looking very good. Could she return? I don't know. Could she return with FPE? That sounds even less likely. For a short point, her Twitter bio said, "I just want to start all over again," so maybe that's the direction to expect. Either with her non-FPE characters or something entirely new. Are we looking at a total rebrand? Who knows? And going back to that description for a bit, she mentioned something about how she feels less happy when she's popular. Of course, you'd instantly associate that with, but I think it's also kind of similar to Stephen Hillenburg's cynicism towards SpongeBob's progress as a franchise leading up to the movie's release. It didn't really feel like his cartoon anymore, and the same could be said here with all its fan fiction and content farms and bootleg merchandise. It's all just gotten completely out of hand, and at some point, you just get tired of it. Hell, I'm kinda part of the problem too. Look at this rage bait I did. Oh, and apparently Katie is also underage, so... oops. In my defense though, I don't think Katie had disclosed her age when I did this stuff, and come on, it really was just for laughs. I'm still gonna keep it all up though, cause I still think it's funny. I wouldn't have had a problem with it myself. I don't think most people would view it as an attack on Katie, and it's part of my history. Maybe I'll regret it in the future, who knows, but I can see why other people would have a problem with it, cause come on. There's other stuff I could point out, like homophobic Claire, that I don't necessarily disapprove of personally, but if I knew they'd make Katie uncomfortable, then yeah, they're pretty good contenders for contributing to the state of her in this cartoon. Everyone has different standards and boundaries, and all of this is just a lot on a teenager in general. I'm not really sure how well laying low and starting over will work for Katie though. I feel like too much has happened at this point for everything to just go back to normal, so if she is considering coming back, I guess the best approach to take would be to just step back and stay offline until her mental state is up to code again. And coming back may not be the worst idea, because the only reason she was getting bullied in the first place is because they wanted her to stop doing what she was doing. But now, I imagine they want her to post anything again, because otherwise they'll also be tired of doing what they're doing. If you're watching this, Katie, I don't think you should give up. Of course, do whatever you think is best, but if these guys hate you, then don't let them have their way. If they really can't stop you from doing what you want, consider proving them wrong by manning up and finishing this project. So in conclusion, people suck.